Hello again, toy fans. D21 Beast here, back with another figure review for you guys here today. And today we're looking at the Star Wars Hero Masher C-3PO and Chewbacca figures released by Hasbro in 2015. Now, I don't know why it took a couple of waves for us to get these Star Wars stalwarts, but I'm glad that Hasbro has finally gotten with the game and given us these classic trilogy characters. And thanks to the accessory that C-3PO seems to be coming with here from The Empire Strikes Back, I thought it would be perfect to go ahead and review these guys at the same time. As you can see here, the front of the packaging is nothing new. We've got the mashed up Star Wars character on the left, and then we have the logo for Star Wars in the upper right and the characters' names off to the side. And of course, we have a window box packaging that does show you both characters and their accessories that come included. The back of the packaging for these figures does feature mashed up versions of C-3PO and Chewbacca respectively, as well as some other figures currently available from this wave. Alright, Force fans, well, let's go ahead and get this protocol droid and loyal wingman out of their packaging and see what they're all about. Alright, toy fans, so here we have C-3PO and Chewbacca out of the packaging, and just like I've noted with the previous Star Wars Masher figures, it really seems like Hasbro put all the proper love and attention into crafting these figures, more so than I would say even the Marvel figures that this line started out with. 3PO has got all of the sculpted detail you'd expect to see on this droid, right down to the antenna on the top of his head and the nodule there on his chest. We've got some nice paintwork here for the wires, and they've all been sculpted. And we just have all the appropriate markings on the metal that you would expect. Really, the only thing we're missing on this figure are the pistons that are typically present along the forearm and the bicep of the droid, which obviously with the mashers being able to separate at the elbows, they wouldn't really have been able to integrate on this figure. But we've even got the silver leg here. Flipping this figure around here, we have some more great sculpting on the back, as well as more paint detail there for the wires going through the abdomen. Really a great looking masher figure, and Chewbacca fares just as well. He's got paint detail here on the toes, he's also got paint detail here on the hands, he's got some paint shading going on the fur, and they've given him a paint detail here on the satchel that he's wearing. Even his face looks really nice, and I love that he's got an almost Dwayne Johnson style raised eyebrow expression. Really fun for the Chewbacca figure. And all of the great paint detail I mentioned carries onto the back of the figure as well. In short, for what they are, these mashers look really good. Accessory-wise, these masher figures do not disappoint. Now, Chewbacca's got that satchel that I've already mentioned, and it's pretty easy to remove that if you want to. Just go ahead and rotate his arm up, and you can pull the bag up off over his head just like this. It's hollow on the inside, but otherwise it's a solid piece of plastic, and it looks really great on the figure. And placing this bag on any other masher figure you might own is just as easy. Chewbacca is also coming with his signature bowcaster weapon, and it's sculpted and detailed out just like you'd expect it to be from the way it looks in the movies. And as you can see, there is an energy bolt coming off the front of this gun, and just like we saw with the Stormtrooper, that projectile is not removable. I really wish Hasbro would change this on future mashers. Finally, what I think is the best piece between these two figures is the netted bag that C-3PO came with. It does have a shoulder strap so you can put it around the C-3PO figure, but it is completely removable. It's just attached to one of the back pegs on this side and then a peg here on the side. But it fits over the C-3PO figure pretty nicely. You can just fold his arm up and just kind of stretch it and wriggle it and get it onto the figure. And then you can see here, he does stand pretty nicely as long as the bag is empty. He stands pretty nicely with that bag on his back. Once you start to load that up though, it does tend to get a bit back heavy and the C-3PO figure's not quite able to hold it. But let's be honest, if you own both of these figures, you're not going to pose this bag on 3PO. You'd rather smash him to bits and throw him on Chewbacca's back. Yeah, there we go. Articulation for these masher figures is the same between the two of them. Chewbacca's slightly hindered by the way that the fur's been sculpted around his neck, but he still moves alright. Otherwise, these mashers move at the head. They have a joint that'll bend down that far and back that far and rotate all the way around. They rotate at the shoulder all the way around. They have an elbow joint that'll allow their arm to bend forward that far, bend back that far, and rotate all the way around. There is no finger or wrist articulation, no sort of ab crunch or waist swivel or anything, but then they have ball jointed hips that bend forward that far, bend back very far, out from the body very far, and then they have a rotation here at the knee as well as rotation at the hip, and then that completes the articulation for these figures. As I have stated on previous masher reviews, we did used to have ankle articulation and a hinge at the shoulder, and I will always miss that articulation being included. Thankfully, on these particular figures, that missing articulation doesn't ruin the fun factor for me. Well, maybe just a little bit. So, if you're new to mashers and what they're all about, they are a toy line that allows you to separate your figure at the neck joint, the elbow joint, the hip joint, and the knee joint, and mix them with other figures in the line. Let's go ahead and bring in a Stormtrooper, and after a quick edit, you can see that there are a ton of options that await you to create your own custom Rebel or Imperial Soldier, and duke it out in a mashed up battle of good versus evil. And of course, the more figures you have from this line, the more options you're going to have to mix and match and create your own custom made masher hero. Height-wise, we can see that these masher figures do stand in 3PO's case just a little bit below 6 inches, and in Chewbacca's case just a little bit over 6 inches. For some size comparison, here we have these Star Wars mashers compared to the Mashers Transformers Starscream figure, and compared to the Mashers Deadpool figure, and here they are compared to the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. Hey, you guys remind me a lot of Dot Matrix and Barf. Man, what was the name of that movie? Haha, that's it. Thanks, Bob. Oh my. Alright, toy fans, well that's my review of the Star Wars Hero Mashers C-3PO and Chewbacca figures released by Hasbro in 2015. Overall, while these figures are available separately, they are quintessential Star Wars characters, and if you're a fan of Star Wars at large, or just the original trilogy, these are figures that you definitely want to pick up. For what they are, they've got a great amount of detail sculpted into them, and the paintwork's actually pretty good for these guys. But for me, the netted bag coming with that C-3PO figure definitely makes this pair a must-have for your collection. These certainly are the toys you're looking for. Well, thanks for watching this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you saw here, please feel free to rate, share, and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comments below, what character from The Force Awakens are you most excited for to see in Masher form? Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at D21Beast, and I'll see you guys next time.